Hunter Biden, The Struggles and Scandals of the U.S. President's Son. By Sam Cabral. BBC News, Washington. June 15, 2022. Updated August 17, 2023. Hunter Biden, the second son of President Joe Biden, is attracting attention once again. In July, the 53-year-old looked set to resolve tax and gun charges against him and avoid prison time in a plea agreement with prosecutors. But that deal has since fallen apart. A special counsel now heads a 5-year-long federal probe into alleged wrongdoing, and a jury trial appears imminent. Congressional Republicans are also investigating alleged influence peddling by the first son, particularly in his foreign business dealings during his father's vice presidency. Meanwhile, his personal struggles, from alcohol and drug abuse to relationship strife, have spilled over into politics in recent years. What to know about Hunter Biden's legal troubles? Hunter Biden's plea deal collapsed. What happens now? Why do Republicans want to impeach Joe Biden now? So what more do we know about Hunter Biden? A childhood steeped in tragedy. Born in Wilmington, Delaware, in 1970 to Joe Biden and his first wife Nylia, Hunter was given his mother's maiden name as his first name. He was only 2 years old in December 1972 when, less than 6 weeks after his father's election to the U.S. Senate, a truck rammed into the family car. The accident took the lives of his mother and his baby sister Naomi, while leaving him with a fractured skull and his older brother Beau with a broken leg. The elder Mr. Biden, who was not in the car, took his oath of office by their bedside in hospital. Hunter later attended Georgetown University and Yale Law School, graduating in 1996. Between the 2 degrees, he joined the Jesuit Volunteer Corps, a Catholic group that serves marginalized communities. There, he met his first wife, Kathleen Bohl, a lawyer, and they wed in 1993. They have 3 children, Naomi, Finnegan and Maisie, but the pair split in 2017. The darkness of addiction. His father is teetotal, but Hunter started drinking as a teenager and confesses he abused cocaine as a college student. He has been in and out of rehab. In 2013, he signed up for the U.S. Navy Reserves and was sworn in before his father, then the vice president, in a White House ceremony. But on his very first day at the naval base, he tested positive for cocaine use and was discharged, something he later said he was embarrassed by. According to The New Yorker, he drank excessively after the death of his older brother, Beau, from brain cancer in 2015, sometimes only leaving the house to buy vodka. He and Beau were one, his daughter Naomi once wrote on Twitter. One heart, one soul, one mind. During their acrimonious divorce, Ms. Bohl accused Hunter of spending extravagantly on his own interests, including drugs, alcohol, prostitutes, strip clubs, and gifts for women with whom he has sexual relations, while leaving the family with no funds to pay legitimate bills. Breaking her silence last year on how the 24-year marriage unraveled, she told Good Morning America, "He was struggling under a massive drug addiction, and that's heartbreaking and painful, and that wasn't who I was married to." In his 2021 memoir Beautiful Things, Hunter concedes that his infidelity was the final straw in their marriage. A DNA test in 2019 found he was the biological and legal father of a child born to London Alexis Roberts, an exotic dancer from Arkansas. Hunter claimed to have no recollection of their encounter in his memoir, but he has settled a paternity suit with Ms. Roberts and pays her child support. None of the Bidens appear to have ever met Navy Roberts, now 4 years old. But amid a media pressure campaign, President Biden was recently forced to acknowledge his 7th grandchild. Biden acknowledges 7th grandchild for first time. Even before his split from Ms. Bohl was finalized, Hunter entered into a relationship with his brother's widow, Hallie Biden. For about 2 years, they bonded over the shared and very specific grief of their loss, he told The New Yorker. Reports of an amicable split surfaced in 2019, less than a week after his father launched a 3rd bid for president. But mere weeks later, Hunter wed South African filmmaker Melissa Cohen after a whirlwind 6-day romance. They have 1 son. Speaking out in 2019 on his struggle with addiction, he said, "You don't get rid of it. You figure out how to deal with it." In Beautiful Things, he credits his survival to his family's love, recounting an intervention that ended with his father tightly embracing him and saying, "I don't know what else to do. I'm so scared. Tell me what to do." Hunter has turned in recent years to painting as a form of therapy, telling the New York Times that it keeps me away from people and places where I shouldn't be. But sales of his artwork, for up to $500,000 apiece, have created an ethics dilemma for the Biden White House. President Biden has defended his son on multiple occasions, most notably during a presidential debate in 2020. After Mr. Trump took issue with his child's struggles, an emotional Joe Biden responded, "My son, like a lot of people, had a drug problem. He's fixed it and worked on it, and I'm proud of my son." Mixing family and business. After graduating from Yale, Hunter worked at MBNA America, a bank holding company headquartered in Delaware and later acquired by Bank of America. Joe Biden's close ties to the bank, one of the largest employers in Delaware and a top contributor to his political campaigns, earned him the unfavorable moniker of the Senator from MBNA. As Hunter was promoted to the rank of executive vice president, Joe pushed bankruptcy reform legislation favorable to MBNA through the Senate. In the early 2000s, while still receiving consulting fees from the bank, Hunter opened a Washington lobbying practice. It saw him land clients with interests that overlapped with his father's committee assignments and legislative priorities, according to Politico magazine. The father-son relationship at the time, he told The New Yorker, was that neither would speak to the other about lobbying work. President Biden has maintained this to be true in the case of more recent allegations of wrongdoing as well. In 2006, with then-Senator Biden set to reassume chairmanship of the Senate's Foreign Relations Committee, Hunter and another relative made an ill-fated purchase of a hedge fund group. Their tenure at Paradigm Global Advisors extended through Joe Biden's 2008 run for president and selection as vice president to President Barack Obama. During this time, the fund was connected with several alleged fraudsters, including a Texas financier convicted of running one of the largest Ponzi schemes in U.S. history. The Bidens denied any wrongdoing and faced no charges. In 2010, they liquidated the fund and returned money to investors. China and Ukraine. Much has been made in recent years about Hunter's foreign business interests while his father was vice president. In 2013, he took a founding board seat at BHR, a Chinese private equity firm, first as an unpaid member and later owning a 10% equity stake in the fund. The company was registered in Shanghai less than a fortnight after Hunter flew with his father on an official vice presidential trip to China and met BHR's chief executive, but only for a cup of coffee, the first son later said. After his father left office in 2017, Hunter partnered with Chinese oil tycoon Yi Jianming on a natural gas project in Louisiana. The deal collapsed after Yi was detained by Chinese authorities on corruption charges and subsequently went missing. Hunter's dealings in Ukraine have stoked even more controversy, given that his father was the Obama administration's point man for U.S.-Ukraine relations. In 2014, he joined the board of a Ukrainian energy company, Burisma Holdings, where he was paid as much as $1.2 million, £943,000 per year. As part of an anti-corruption drive, Vice President Biden was at the time rallying for the ouster of the country's top prosecutor, Viktor Shokin. Mr. Shokin was removed by Parliament in 2016, but critics argue the prosecutor only lost his job because he was investigating Burisma. Republicans have alleged both Joe and Hunter Biden received $5 million payouts from Burisma executives in exchange for Mr. Shokin's firing. A former business partner to Hunter also testified Joe had been on speakerphone several times during Hunter's calls with various contacts. Allegations of corruption formed the centerpiece of both President Trump's first impeachment in 2019 and emerging efforts to impeach President Biden. A laptop abandoned by Hunter at a Delaware repair shop, and the seedy contents of its hard drive, also featured prominently in the 2020 presidential campaign. The Biden team argued at the time it was a smear campaign engineered by Russian disinformation, but the hard drive has since been authenticated by U.S. media and seized by the FBI. Analysis of its contents has provided proof of Hunter's extensive earnings from his work in China and Ukraine, as well as evidence of his alcohol and drug-fueled escapades. As the president revs up his re-election campaign, his strategists will be hoping the fallout from his son's legal drama and tabloid-friendly life does not prove an unwelcome distraction.
That is what's known as being stunningly full of shit.
China Trade, the president signed an order in August to investigate Chinese theft of U.S. intellectual property. The IP Commission report estimates that the annual cost to the United States economy from IP theft could be as high as $600 billion, with China as the major contributor.